Hello, welcome everyone to the kickoff of our webinar series with IDS Interactive Digital Solutions. We are super glad that you're here today for the first in a series of webinars where we have casual conversations with integrated partners, industry experts, influencers, and innovative ideas and solutions to empower communications in an ever-evolving world. Throughout the webinar, you'll have an opportunity to submit questions through the chat. We'll be monitoring those questions as we go along. We're going to save some time at the end to address those questions, so please do ask them throughout the entire program. We are recording this and we'll be posting this on the IDS website and emailing it to you for future reference. I will not delay any further. I am Valerie Collinsworth, Chief Marketing Officer of IDS, and I'm happy to be moderating, if I could speak, this webinar today. Without further delay, I'd like to introduce you to our host and guest. Today, our host is Matt Rhodes, VP of Sales at Interactive Digital Solutions. He'll be speaking with Ryan Schenkel and John Nelms. They are digital communication experts at Zoom. As you know, Zoom is an innovative platform that helps consolidate communications, connect people, and collaborate better together in the boardroom, the classroom, the operating room, and everywhere in between. With that, I say welcome, Matt, Ryan, and John. Matt, I'll kick it over to you to get started.
Thank you, Valerie. Welcome, everybody. Ryan and John, thank you for joining us today. It's nice to have everyone together. So before we dig into all this great insight we're going to receive from Ryan and John regarding Zoomtopia, future information, touch a little bit on Zoom Phone, a little background. I'd like to start there a little bit. Ryan, if you could introduce yourself and share some of that background, it'd be great.
Absolutely. My name is Ryan Schenkel. I'm a strategic partner manager here at Zoom. And my job is to help facilitate IDS on any opportunities and also educate as far as what's coming down the pipeline with Zoom in general. We're going to dive into a lot of that, announcements that occurred at Zoomtopia. And I think this feels like a good spot to just mention that I think a lot of times people still think of us as just that meetings company and don't necessarily understand the depth and breadth of our overall platform. So I'm hoping that we can identify some new products maybe that you're not aware of today and talk about some of the things that we have on our roadmap as well.
Awesome. Ryan, take it away. Share a little bit, please. John.
Yeah, let me introduce John Nelms. So John, I playfully say that he's the Jedi and I'm just the dark side sales guy, but that's not really fair. But he's a fantastic resource for us, one of our engineers for the channel and so forth. And so he has put together a presentation specifically geared toward what's new at Zoom, what's coming down the pipeline, and just a little bit more about our overall platform in general. So without further ado, I'll let John take it away.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. I get the best job in the world because I get to talk about the best product in the world. It makes it a lot easier when you're an engineer that has to talk about a product that is always being updated and always works really well and is exciting in terms of what we cover. So, as Ryan said, we talked about a lot of things in the last month and we unveiled at a big giant conference that we do every year called Zoomtopia. So hopefully y'all have heard of that. Zoomtopia is it's really just a big giant user conference for Zoom, and we always release a lot of functionality and make a lot of product announcements during that time. So you're catching us on a good cycle that we get to talk about a lot of cool futuristic type of releases and features. And with that comes an advisory, which is why we have the safe harbor statement. To the legal jargon, any forward-looking indication of plans for products, including the development, release, and timing of any features or functionality is preliminary, and all future release dates are tentative and are subject to change without notice. In other words, some of these things that we talk about may never, ever be released. I will say in the 3.5 years that I've been at Zoom, there's never been a product or a feature that we talked about, though, that hasn't been released. So I'm just saying we have pretty good track record that if we talk about it, we release it. So we not only talk the talk, we walk the walk, but don't Don't take everything like it's released. It's not. Some of these things are not released today, and I'll point that out as we go through. So we'll talk about 2024 product announcements, things that we went over here 2-3 weeks ago at Zoomtopia. We'll talk about our AI innovations. AI, of course, is a huge buzzword throughout the industry. Everyone's talking AI these days. We'll talk about why it's different at Zoom and why you may be interested if you haven't used Zoom's AI before. It's important to know how we do things differently, and it's not just a buzzword for us. We'll talk about some workplace innovations, things that actually are meant for those users that are going into a physical office on a regular basis. And then we'll spotlight one product in particular, which is Zoom Phone. So let's first take you through those announcements and the AI innovations, because change is coming in the way we work. It already has come for it came early for Ryan and I. We got our Christmas gifts a little early, I guess, in terms of the AI innovations and the products that we get to we test them all first within Zoom, and so we've been playing with a lot of these for a long time, and it's been actually a huge departure and productivity enhancer for me personally. I save hours every week thanks to AI already. And we've got a little bit different approach to AI than some of our competitors. We have this AI first approach, meaning it's prolific throughout the product. Regardless of, when you think about all the products that Zoom sells, we have a lot of different things that we've got in our product portfolio, all on one platform. When you say Zoom, there's just one platform. We're not talking about different platforms that people are going out and using. It's really just one platform. I know our competitors, we have a platform for this, a platform for this, a platform for this. We don't have that. We have one platform. And it covers all of our products, which means there's one client, one software client to install. Means if I pull out my iPhone, I have my Zoom client and it works just the same on my desktop. There's not a bunch of different types of systems that we have to run or anything like that. It's just one system. So what we did is we brought AI into that one platform, and it works throughout all the products. And when I say products, I mean like meetings, phone, Zoom rooms, so conference rooms, Zoom contact center. There's a lot of different things that we have that AI is built in. And the cool thing about it is, the really great thing about it is for all of our paid users, for every one of our paid users, they get AI Companion at no additional charge. So that means if you're running Zoom today with a paid license, you can turn on this feature during this call if you want to. You could go in right now into your Zoom admin. Your Zoom admin is zoom.us. If you go to your browser and type in zoom.us and log in, there's an option for you to go in and turn on AI Companion. It's under your account management settings. So think about that. By default, it's turned off for every account. Every account has this turned off because people have some legitimate security issues with maybe enabling AI. And so we aim to really minimize those concerns. And there's a complete security white paper, if you're concerned about it, that talks about every little thing that we do in terms of AI. In fact, I was so diligent, I printed it out. I printed out the white paper. I've got it here, and I refer to it all the time when people ask me questions. They want to know things about a certain product, and I'm like, yeah, let me just go to my handy dandy white paper. So think about downloading that if you are concerned. It is currently, AI is disabled by default. You have to turn it on. But what it does is it helps you prioritize your day a little better. It helps you focus. It gives you some assistance in your common task and unlock a lot of your time to do more common tasks, I would say. So let's talk about some of the things that it does right now. If you go and enable it, what are you going to get? So we've just unveiled AI Companion 2.0. It was announced at Zoomtopia 3 weeks ago, and it was released last week. So this is available to all of our customers. 2.0 gives us the ability to have a personal assistant within the Zoom Workplace client. It's always there. It lives over on the right side of your client, and it gives you some general type, maybe. If you think if you had a personal assistant, what would they do? Well, give me an overview for my day. Help me prepare for all the meetings that I have coming up. And what it's doing is it's taking the information from those meetings that you've had previously and saying, all right, here's what we know about this meeting. Here's what here's what was promised for the meetings that you have today. Here's the deliverables you were owed, and maybe any tasks that were associated with it. So it kind of gives you a rundown of everything that is needed, what your job specifically is in those meeting environments. It'll help you summarize any meetings that you've had as well in the past. So if you need to refer back to maybe a previous meeting that took place, or maybe we have a weekly project meeting that we're dealing with over Zoom, it'll help us summarize those. And so what happened during the last one? I take me, for instance, if I missed a call, like a meeting, if I missed a meeting last week because I was out doing probably out, maybe I was out golfing. I don't know. Probably not me. I don't golf a lot. So, but maybe I was out golfing and I missed a meeting. I can go in and quickly get a summary for that meeting that I missed. Even though I wasn't there, I still can see, was my name mentioned? Was I voluntold to do anything during that meeting while I was out? It'll tell me, which is great. And it'll even create a task for me based on that. So it prioritizes that information. It gives you your action items, and it just helps you get work done. And for me, it makes a big difference. So the side panel is out now. This is what it looks like in the client. It just lives over there, over on the right side. So it helps you recap things, create content, locate information, manage your tasks. The cool thing about this thing is we can pull in other sources of information. So if you think about when we say, prepare me for a meeting, what does that mean? Prepare me for a meeting. I'm going to look at maybe the last meeting that you had with those attendees for that topic. I'm also going to look at any relevant chat messages that apply. I'm going to look at maybe potential emails that you can use that had information regarding what the topic of the upcoming meeting is. It'll even pull in information from third-party sources. For instance, if I had a CRM like Salesforce that had customer information on a meeting that I was going to have with a customer, chances are I probably want to pull in that information to help prepare me for my upcoming meeting. And so we can draw that information into it as part of the source as well. So that is available. The sidebar is available now. But let's talk about what I just mentioned, that customizability of the CRM, pulling that information in from Salesforce. How does that work? So we can take data sources that you have, multiple data sources out there, and start pulling in that information with our new AI Studio. What AI Studio does is it really allows us to extend the platform AI capabilities beyond just our usual scope of Zoom applications. We can go outside and reach out to those other sources and personalize the experience even. What does that mean? Well, when we personalize the experience, we can, I know every industry seems to have their own language that they use, their own jargon that they use as part of it. The medical industry has a list of terms that they use that are maybe not mainstream. Have you ever heard a doctor talk to another doctor? They a lot of times will speak doctor language. And people like me, I'm like, well, I don't really, what does that mean, right? So we can help define some of those terms, maybe some of those acronyms, maybe there's industry specific, maybe there's company specific acronyms that we use. I know here at Zoom, we have a ton of acronyms. Most of them start with the letter Z for Zoom. Like we have a product called Zoom Virtual Agent. But if I said ZVA, would anyone on the call actually know what ZVA meant? So we have our own little acronyms. I think every company does, every industry does. But it allows us to define what those are and customize them with our new AI Studio. And so this is where we will connect up to other disparate database sources like a Salesforce, another CRM that we want to connect to. And then we can fine tune it with that jargon and then hopefully make some easy connections that allow us to quickly summarize information and bring it to all of our users within our organization. That's the power of what we can do with AI Studio. We can also create templates with it. And so if you had certain things, like if I needed to, if I wanted to create a certain type of meeting agenda and template with everyone that I like, after the meeting occurs, I want to summarize it in a very specific way. Like I want to have like the topic, the key points, suggestions, next steps. If I just want to do that, I can define that within my AI studio now. And every one of my meetings that gets summarized, I now have this template that it always follows. And this would have been really useful for me when I was a project manager, actually implementing systems, like having a meeting template. Everything I had, I could just, it would basically do it all for me. Things that I had to do manually back in the day. I'm no longer a project manager, but if I had this, this would be amazing. So just think about the possibilities it opens up for you and your teams at their jobs. The other things that it allows us to do with AI Companion is actually ask questions. So we can actually just ask the system a question about, hey, was this mentioned in a meeting? Or did this happen in a meeting? Was Ryan's name mentioned in the meeting? What is Ryan doing in this meeting? Like we can ask those questions. What's on the agenda for this meeting? What are we talking about today? There's that vocabulary. You can see them adding up some 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 words we've never heard of, some acronyms we've never heard of. Remember the twin proxy one, right? That was a good one. I have no idea what any of this meant. I like how the second one is actually BS. So that's probably what all of these things are. But um, there we go. That's some. But what this does is it actually helps you with transcriptions. So at the end of the day, when you're actually having a call and it transcribes the entire message, it knows that whatever twin proxy is, whatever that means, is actually a noun that should be described as such. So you've got those definitions available to you as part of your language model in the AI. The other cool thing that we can do is we can, and I've used this quite a bit. Ryan, I don't know if you've used this, but we at
Little.
Zoom, we analyze every call that we're on because you cannot improve until you quantify where you have been. And if you've ever quantified yourself, meaning like, I want to know how many times in a minute that I use a filler word, or what is my talking speed, or what is my talk to listen ratio? How often am I stopping, taking a drink of water, and listening to someone else speak in a meeting? It'll actually quantify all this for you, and it'll tell you if you're doing good or bad. It tells you the good, bad, and the ugly. It makes sure that you know how you're doing. And so it'll even stack rank you with your team if you want to. So it's pretty powerful what you can do. It's personally helped me speed up my talking. I'm from Texas, so we all talk really slow here. At least most of us do. And so it's personally helped me speed up a little bit with my cadence, but also have pauses and fill the gaps with air instead of every 5 seconds me saying or you know, right? Like those types of filler words are gone. I try to erase them from my vocabulary when I can. We've personalized our avatars now. This one's actually really cool. We've actually talked about this being the ability to create a digital clone of yourself. So you can create a clip of me, of yourself. Like I can create a clip of me, you create a clip of you, recordings of what you want to say. You think about this. This is pretty wild. This is pretty out there. You can write a script for yourself, and then it does a voice print and a face print of you. It analyzes you, and then it creates a video of you talking without you actually having to talk. It's pretty far out there. It's pretty cool stuff that we can do. It's not available just yet. This is not ready for prime time, but we are baking it in the Zoom kitchen right now. And it's pretty wild to think about the possibilities. So I can just start writing scripts for videos and create it and then have it me being a talking head on the screen. So this is coming within probably the next 6 months here at Zoom. So you'll see this ability to create clips with a custom avatar. Should be very fun. So let's talk about workplace innovations. What are we doing inside? Everyone knows, hopefully you know that we do more than just what you're seeing here, like webinars and meetings. If you don't, then we definitely want to have a follow-up conversation with you, because we do a lot more than just meetings. And a lot of people, unfortunately, just know Zoom for video meetings. Oh, that's the company that I use when I work from home and I need to have a video meeting with everyone from my office. Yes, we are. And we're proud to be that. But we do 48 other things in addition to video meetings. Here's one of them. So when we talk about the AI companion piece, I know I just mentioned it just for the meetings piece, but AI companion touches everything in the product. It means it touches your calendar, it touches your email, it touches your chat, it touches your phone, it touches Zoom rooms. And when we walk into an office, we hopefully have that flexibility to use every product within the Zoom portfolio. When it works, when everything's working together, it makes life a lot easier for the employees and the users that are using it on a regular basis. We're unveiling Zoom tasks as part of this as well, to where you can actually add tasks to your Zoom lifestyle. What does that mean? Well, if I've already got information from meetings phone, calendar, Zoom rooms, all of these different areas where it knows who John Nelms is, then why not, if I'm talking in meetings, like, I will follow up with you next week and send you these slides. If I say that on a meeting, then it needs to create a task for me to say, you promised that you would send this group a copy of these slides. And so it creates the task automatically for me based on those AI summaries that it does, which is great. It'll also do, we talk about voicemail all the time. I don't know how many people are still using voicemail, because it seems like everyone who calls me, rings 4 times. If I can't get it, they end up sending me a text or an email. Hey, I just called you. But occasionally I'll get a voicemail. One of the cool things we can do now is give a tailored voicemail message based on where we are for that time period. So it sees your calendar already. It already knows, hey, John's in a meeting right now. Or maybe it says that John is playing golf. Or maybe it says John is out for the day. Maybe John is off on vacation this week. We can create a dynamic greeting based on any of those scenarios I just described. It'll automatically create it. And it knows my voice print. It knows what I sound like, because it's listened to me talk for hours and hours and hours. When you think about all the calls you have, it listens to you all the time.
So, John, can I interrupt with a question that's come up with all the AI talk real quick?
Sure.
How does Zoom handling all the customer data? Because I know that, privacy concerns and everything, security concerns are always present, ever present, right? So how is
Yes.
it handling customer data through all the AI migration as it continues to expand even further into every aspect of our world, right?
That's right. Let me refer to my handy white paper that I have on this information, right?
Sorry, I didn't save questions to the end. I apologize for that, but this one was
No.
in
This
my
is
mind, so I had
great.
to
This is
jump in.
relevant to what we're talking about. So this is good. So here's the bottom line, and I think this is. I wish we put it in bold print in here, because I think for me, there is a sentence right at the bottom of page. What is it? Page 4. And I like to read it verbatim, because it is so important. Zoom does not use any customer audio, video, chat, screen sharing, attachments, or other communications like customer content, such as poll results or whiteboard or reactions, to train Zoom's or its third-party artificial intelligence models. So let's think about what that means. That means we are not using any customer data to train AI. That's an important piece, because a lot of companies out there use that data that they already have to train the models that everybody else uses. That's kind of what they do. Like if you use ChatGPT, you'll find that it could potentially use data that you submit to train models. Now, in ours, if you notice, we use multiple language models. We don't hitch our wagon to one. We don't hitch our wagon to OpenAI. We don't hitch our wagon to Anthropic only. We don't hitch our wagon to our own model even. We have multiple sources. We federate when it comes to language models for AI. And we're pulling data from them based on which model suits what we're trying to do best. So in a lot of cases, we're pulling it from, maybe we pull it from chat or from OpenAI based on information that is relevant maybe to meeting summaries, but we go to Anthropic for whiteboard generation, and we use our own model for maybe doing simple lookups of like whiteboard information. Maybe let's just go with that for language models. But in terms of, you may be thinking, well, you have to store customer data in order to generate the summaries, and then you have to store the summary as well. So here's a cool thing. Really cool. As part of it, and in this white paper, we actually do talk about how each service retains data. There is the ability to set how long you want the retention period for any stored data to be. And that could be a meeting summary. That could be the meeting transcript that the meeting summary was generated from. You can even set it to 0 data retention. That means as soon as the call ends, as soon as I press end, it removes any relevant information about that call. So if you did that, your AI experience may not be all that great because you've essentially removed a lot of the information that it helps for productivity. But I think by default, most people keep this on for 30 days to a year in terms of customer data that it retains within your account, and it's just specific to your account. Nobody else has access to that. It's the same way that call recordings work. So if somebody goes down to the bottom in a meeting and presses the record button, that data is stored. So it follows like the same profile that you would be using for that call recording data. And it stays with your customer account. It stays in your account. So anyone who has access to that customer account as an admin could see that data, but nobody else could. So great question. Thank you for asking it, Matt. Key takeaway, if you remember nothing else from this call, just remember that Zoom uses 0 customer data to train AI models. That is the big takeaway from that.
Can I keep down the customer train a little bit?
Say that again one more time.
I keep asking some questions.
Oh, sure.
So with all the various offerings, you said 48 different solutions, right?
One solution
Okay,
with
48 different
48
product
different
sets in your stack.
products. Right.
What other aspects are out there? I mean, like, do you have full email? Do you have documents? Where does all that sit in the Zoom portfolio? Because it sounds like AI can access a lot of different tools.
It
Does
can.
provide other tools? Because I heard Ryan at the beginning talk about, well, everyone knows about Workplace or Zoom meetings as it was introduced years ago. What else?
Yeah, I think I have a slide on it actually.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm running you through your slide deck too fast.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
We talked about this being a fireside chat a little bit, so I decided to change the tone on you.
This is
That is great.
This is one of the big slides anyway, so good timing.
Right. And so if you think about those, what is here? This is probably like 25 of the products. There's some subcategories of these as well. But you see meetings is right in the middle. You can see my mouse on the screen probably. Meetings right in the middle. That's where that's where it all started back in 2010, 2011, somewhere in there. And we've just kind of branched out from that. So like the most underrated product, I'll tell you here, is Team Chat. Everyone should be using Team Chat. Like get rid of Slack, get rid of Teams, use Zoom Team Chat. It's way better than everything else. It works so well. Team Chat within Zoom, very underrated. Everybody gets it. Also, everybody, even a free user gets Zoom Team Chat. So even if you just like, hey, yeah, I'm going to go to the Zoom website and download the client and create an account. You now have Zoom Team Chat. You can use it, and you can now chat with everybody else. So if you want to chat one of us. You can chat us directly from your Zoom team chat client. And quite frankly, that's all we use at Zoom when we're communicating with others. Email has gone to like, you just turn the volume knob down all the way to 0 on email because everyone uses Zoom team chat around here. We have Zoom Phone. We're going to talk about Zoom Phone. There's a lot of products baked into the Zoom Workplace over on the left side here. And you may have seen Zoom Workplace advertised. You know, if you're watching the World Series, you see Workplace, Zoom Workplace. You see it up. If you've downloaded the client of Zoom, you see that Zoom Workplace up there. What is it? It's a collection of all of these applications that we're talking about right now. These things that we can do. And we've made it really easy for customers to be able to buy one license and get all of these things. So you don't just have to say, oh, I'd like to pick this, 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 and this. You can do everything all with Zoom Workplace. And it includes things like, did you know that we have a full email and calendar suite that replaces Microsoft 365, Exchange, Google, whatever you're using? We can use our own Zmail, stands for Zoom Mail, and you can use that as part of your Zoom client. It's right in there. Or you can still continue to use your whatever service you want, and we'll just act as a client, and it just shows up in your Zoom client for email, which is great. So um, those features are available to all users of Zoom Workplace. We have a full scheduler as well. Like if you want to book time on someone's calendar, use Zoom Scheduler. It's great. Use Zoom Whiteboard. Use our docs, use notes. I use clips all the time. Clips is easy to create a quick clip of me and I can send it off. If somebody asks me a question like, hey, John, how do you do this? I'll create a 1-minute clip and say, here's where you go, hit this button, go down here and do that. It instantly creates a link for me that they can access. And I'll email it or text them or chat them and they'll have it. But as we get into the office, you know, the productivity worker inside an office, those are big pieces that people are using, like workspace reservation. I work from home, as most people from Zoom do. And when I do go into an office, which is infrequently, we have an office in Denver, and I've been there a few times. That's probably the closest one to me in Texas. We don't have an office in Texas. But when I go in, I don't have a desk there. I never show up there, so why would I have a desk? But I just go to my workspace reservation. I look at the map and I can book a desk. I can book a conference room. I can see everything I can book with workspace reservation. We have did you know that Zoom had a complete visitor management suite? A complete thing that has a ability. You walk into an office for the very first time and you walk up to a kiosk and it says, please enter your name, please enter your email address, and a badge will be printed for you. Yes, Zoom can do that. Your employees can even invite those folks into the office and it'll provide instructions of what they need to do when they check in to the office. We have a full digital signage suite. So if you see it, think of all the places you see a TV in an office building. Like I go through my day and I walk into an office building. I've walked up to the office building and there's like a TV vertically oriented usually on the side of the building, like showing content, like announcements and things like that. You walk into the lobby, then there's another TV in there with a directory. You walk into the elevator, you look up, there's a TV in the elevator. You get off the elevator, there's another lobby upstairs. There's a TV behind the reception desk. Go to the restroom, there's a TV behind the mirror. There's so many display devices everywhere you go throughout your day. You don't even recognize it. There's just TVs and displays everywhere.
I don't want a TV behind the mirror in the bathroom. That, you know.
Yeah, those fancy restaurants up there in Chicago, Ryan.
Yeah.
I've been to
I
some
don't
of those
like
fancy restaurants, and they have TVs behind the mirror, dude.
I'm with Brian. I'm with Ryan. No, I'm
No.
with Ryan.
I mean, every once in a while you'll see them in like the nice hotels, like the literally the TVs like in the
Oh,
vanity
in your room. Yeah, yeah.
room. That's even awkward, frankly. I
Yeah.
digress. Sorry, I couldn't let that go.
No, but these are things that are in our environment, right? That's why I'm pointing them out because all of those devices, regardless of where they're at, doesn't matter. If it could be a menu at at Chipotle. I don't know. But you've got TVs, display devices everywhere you go. And you have to have a way to put content on them. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like, there's no just content fairy that's going to sprinkle it on it. You've got to have some hardware and plug something in so that content displays on that device, right? That's table stakes. So we have a complete digital signage solution that allows us to do that. The digital signage solution will allow us to play movies, not movies like, I guess you could play movies, but videos, promotional videos, images, office announcements. I want to have dynamic content. Maybe I want to show traffic. Maybe I want to show the Chicago traffic in a Chicago office building. I can do that. I can show a directory. I can rotate through these things and have it show these for a period of time. I can even put office meetings on those digital signage displays. I could even walk up to it. We can put a sharing code up at the top corner of this thing that says it's a 6-digit code. So when I walk by and I look at it, I can go to my iPhone and go to zoom.us/share, type in the 6-digit code and cast my screen from my mobile device to that display. And you may be thinking, why would I want to do that? Well, I've used this before. I've walked into an office building before and somebody wants to talk about like what we're talking about right now. Hey, tell me about the rest of the products and everything you do at Zoom. And I can go, yeah, let me show you. I've got a slide on this actually on my phone. And rather than look at my 4-inch iPhone screen, I say, yeah, let me just put this up on the screen real quick. And I pop it up there and it's a nice big display. They got like an 85-inch TV in their lobby that I can show that on. And it's easy for us to do that. There's a lot of intrinsic value to having these devices as part of that same ecosystem. So to answer your question, Matt, I know that was probably a lot longer answer than you
No.
wanted, but we do a lot. And you see everything on this
You're kind of nailing it. So I'm going to kind of guide you to a new topic if that's all right. Since I know when it comes to equipment needs and standardization, Zoom's done quite a bit of work in validating what's standardized. Is there any, I mean, there's a lot of new software releases coming up. Are there any challenges like that? And I'm gonna ask you to go to phone a little bit next, but if I have phones, et cetera, or I have conference rooms, um, how do I find out if what I have is going to be compatible and such? And what's a good way to
Yeah.
do that?
So important to note that Zoom doesn't make any hardware. You won't find it. We don't make any hardware. We are a software services company. But what that also means is that we rely on our partners, manufacturers who make really good hardware to work with us. And when people ask me why Zoom rose to the top, it became a verb during the pandemic. It was not because it was not because we were so giant at the time. We weren't like the biggest on the block at the time. It was actually because how easy it was to use our solution, our video meeting solution, on various hardware types, regardless of what type of hardware it was. So there's a lot of different hardware that's floating around out there. You think about all the places you see hardware. And we have lots of different partners out there when it comes to how we work. But the experience on that hardware in terms of the software interface is identical from device to device. It's near identical on each one of those devices. So there's a lot to be said for that. There's not like a training curve. There's not a user learning curve that you have to go through in order to use Zoom on different devices. But anytime, here's a little life hack for you. Anytime you have a question on what devices are supported, maybe you've got some old Cisco phones that you just can't part with and you want to reuse them for Zoom Phone. Or maybe you've got some old Poly phones. Maybe you've got some new Poly phones that you want to use as part of the solution. Maybe you've got some Yay links. Whatever you've got, whatever devices that you've got conference rooms with Logi systems or Neat systems. Anytime you have a question, here's the life hack. Super easy. Go to Google and type in Zoom supported hardware. Super easy to get there. Click the support article. It'll tell you everything we support. every single device that we have listed as supported, certified. We'll even give you the firmware version of that software and the date that we checked it. That's how good our support site is when it comes to finding out what hardware is compatible. And there's a lot of stuff on that list. You will find there's probably 100 different SIP phone devices that we support, including things like analog adapters. If you want to have an analog device that is being used for something, maybe a door phone or something like that. So we put all of that information on there in terms of hardware map.
Fabulous. So I know we're running short on time. I want to be respectful. Is there anything we can do, a quick recap here on phone? Because
Yes.
I know a
let's
lot
talk
of
phone.
people know IDS over here as being room people. We do spaces. But I'm just gonna tell my little pitch here, secret sauce is if it's Zoom provided, we support it and provide it as well. So just for an overview of us, so if we can do a little phone, that'd be great here. And like I said, trying to be polite to everyone's time as best I can. I know we
Yeah, and
promised
I'd
30
like
minutes,
to-
we're already long, so.
I'd like to add just one quick thing before John jumps into it, because I just think it's such a differentiator. I want to highlight it. Zoom does not charge for cost recovery fees, and we don't charge for E911. And that is not the same with many of our competitors. So on average, conservatively, that saves $3, probably closer to $4 on the cost recovery fees per line, and an extra $1 for E911 as well. So I just want to highlight that. It's a big difference.
It is, yeah. And when you look at the rest of the industry, they are consistently charging those fees and passing those along. So when you look at phone, make sure you look at that piece and ask about it, because whether or not it's included on the quote, you should know, because we don't create a line item for that and don't pass that expense on to our customers, which is good. So let's talk about the drivers for UC investments. Now, I'm not a big percentage like all these are all surveys based on customer data, right? So ease of use, 22% of organizations stated ease of use management as a driver for UC investment. There's a lot of reasons that people want to migrate from their existing system. So I'm not going to dwell on this percentage slide. You've probably already read it since I had it up here a while. But here's the thing. Here's the bottom line. If you want a solution that's super easy to use, both for your users and your admin, give Zoom Phone a fair shake, because most of our customers who have chosen to go with Zoom Phone have used another Zoom product like Zoom Meetings. The vast majority of our customers are already using Zoom Meetings today, and they were like, hey, it would be great if we could add on Zoom Phone. And it makes it a lot easier to utilize all of the features within Zoom when you're using everything in harmony. And Meetings works really well with phone and vice versa. Your management is simplified. You've got one pane of glass for it. We work all around the globe. Even if your country is not in dark blue here and under one of these lists, we can still bring in one of our carrier partners as well as part of it, as to provide dial tone in those countries. So we work in a lot of places around the globe. We do that through cloud peering or premises peering, also available to all of our customers. We have a ton of administration tools. I always think it's always good to mention, like when we think about admin on other systems is, you may already experience this in your day to day, everyone. I don't know, but your admin for your phone system should not be a chore. It should be super easy. And we got the advantage of not having to carry a bunch of legacy baggage with us in our Zoom Phone system. We made it our own and made it super easy to use in the administrator tools. But we can still hang with the big boys who've been doing it for the last 30 years. Our Zoom Phone is only 5 years old, but it does just as much as the folks that have been around for a long time. There's close to 8 million users of Zoom Phone right now. So it's continuing to grow. Lots of capabilities. I say these features are growing all the time. And we integrate with just about everybody out there that you've heard of. And when I say that, I mean like make your day more productive. Integrate with your uh, your customer experience solution that you have today. Maybe it's Microsoft Dynamics. maybe it's Zoho, maybe it's Salesforce. We integrate with those to make things a lot easier. So with that, I'll pitch it back to y'all. I know we're right up against time here, so thanks for having me. Thanks for listening to me, everyone.
Yeah, are there any questions that anybody has that maybe we didn't cover, or something that you thought of during the presentation that's relevant?
So we do have one question, Ryan. Good thing. I just wanted to add, someone asks, does Zoom have a contact center solution? And I don't know if you have any time to talk about it because we're real tight, but I believe you do. But the question was, what is Zoom's contact solution and contact center solution? And does that integrate with CRMs as well?
What's a contact center? Never heard of it. No,
Never
I'm just
heard of it.
teasing. Just teasing. I may have a slide on it. I don't know if I do or not. I don't. Oh, darn. We do have a contact center. We have a fully featured contact center, omni-channel and all. It is great. It works phenomenally within the rest of the platform. Same client as well. So same software client. You don't have to download anything additional. It's not some separate thing that you have to go and do. We built it for Zoom by Zoom. That's a big differentiator. We didn't go out and buy somebody. We didn't say, let's bolt this thing on and then try to make it work. We didn't do that. It works really well with the platform. And what do I mean by that? It means I don't have to, like, for me to go in and set up a new customer that's running, maybe they just have meetings today. Maybe they don't even have a phone. Maybe they're just running meetings. For me to get a user or an agent set up on contact center, Zoom contact center, is me checking a license button that says this user needs contact center. And then magically it appears in their Zoom client, a little contact center button where they can make and receive calls in the contact center. That includes voice, video, email, web chat, virtual agents, social media like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all of those multiple channels brought into a single place within Zoom Contact Center. So true multimodal omni-channel solution.
Wow, thank you. So I'm just going to kind of wrap this up here. Thank you very much. If any of the discussion topics piqued your interest or have curiosity and you'd like to schedule some time with us, IDEA specializes in creating simple to use solutions, integrate workflows, lift your productivity is the bottom line with all these tools. How do we solve those business problems that will help your business lift productivity? So contact us today. We'll drop a link into the chat here, but I just wanted to say thank you, John, Ryan, Valerie, everyone. I appreciate your time here today, and thank you again. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.